haunted by visions from Azura, in search for her sister, a pilgrim and a brave heart, Sedyni, the mid-loving priestess. This is who we'll be following in this heavily modded Skyrim playthrough. Sedyni is a female Dunmer hailing from Tel Arun on the eastern side of Vanderfell Morrowind, a village best known for its slave trade. During a slave uprising, Sedyni and her sister were abducted by a band of Khajiit escapees, taken hostages in an act of retribution against their former captors. Despite plenty of abuses initially, the two sisters were starting to get noticed for their affinity for Azura worship, a deity very important in both Dunmer and Khajiit cultures. As such, they fell under the protection of some of the members of the newly formed caravan against the abuses of the others. Sedyni was thusly trained in some skills and arts, but came to despise others, in a reflection of the treatment that she received from those former slaves and their own respective disciplines. Those trained in thievery and assassination seemed especially scary to Sedyni and her little sister. The Khajiit caravan made its way over the years from Morrowind to Cyrodiil through Skyrim. At one point during their travels, a balding Redguard merchant and a Nordic mercenary joined the caravan for safer passings. Achelir, the old Redguard, intoxicated Sedyni with skooma and then tried to force himself onto her, but Fjorn, the Nord warrior, intervened and cast the perpetrator out. Sedyni got a deep distrust towards balding men out of the whole ordeal, together with a liking for the men of Skyrim and a lingering alcohol addiction after having cured her skooma one. Those who sold their services as thieves and assassins constantly tried to assert their dominance in the caravan on the pretext of their bigger coin contribution to the group due to their skills. One such argument escalated into a full mutiny in one grave night. Fighting and killing broke out, the caravan disbanded. In the chaos, Sedyni was separated from her sister, and has been looking for her ever since in her pilgrimages towards various Azura shrines. She is now in Skyrim, as commanded by the Daedra goddess herself in a dream, trailing her sibling, which she heard is on the run from both the Thieves Guild and the Dark Brotherhood, somewhere in the mountains northeast of Whiterun. Azura has commanded Sedyni to bring her 10,000 precious gems to her shrine, and this is where our playthrough begins. Sedyni is trained in the arts of alteration, restoration, illusion magic. She can fight with light weapons, shields, and ranged weaponry. She is a fair enchanter and a barterer, and has learned how to stay out of sight from her Khajiit protectors. However, due to her dislike of necromancers, thieves, and killers, she willingly lacks any knowledge in conjuration, destruction magic, pickpocketing, and heavy armor. On a last note, her alcoholism has fueled a growing understanding of alchemy. She has a special set of earrings, specially enchanted for her by her sister, an elven backpack, and her pilgrimage attire. She also wields 4 weapons that she has collected and refined as heirlooms in her travels: a sword, a powerful dwarven mace, a combat crossbow, and a stealthy bow. She carries a 10th with her, and she refuses to eat vegetables. She considers them to be poisoned due to how badly the Khajiit used to cook them. Now, I want to take a minute to talk about my version of Skyrim. The Nordic province is going to be very cold and hard to live in. The game was designed to be substantially more difficult compared to its unaltered state. Enemies will be plenty, they will be smart and tough. Combat will be much more fluid but much more demanding. One hit can end you. A cold night without provisions can also prove to be deadly, as you will see, and the Civil War has a very strong presence. On the plus side, there is much greater variety of weapons, armors, enchantments, spells, and creatures, and some graphical overhauls will make the experience much more pleasant to look at. Without further ado, let's get started.